legislation made it to your desk, maybe towards the end of your first term, that would install right to work, would you sign it or not?
Depends what it looks like, but I doubt it.
Okay. Treasurer Rutherford, same question.
I don't see the pivot coming. The answer is
No on right to work. Senator Brady.
Yeah, Dan, I know where you're going, and a lot of us like this, but I think the truth of the matter is, I don't see it happening. But I don't think that's the save all to everything. Frankly, if you look at recent case law, there's been a lot of dwindling away of right to work. I think there's a lot we can do with existing case law as it relates to it to level the playing field, and that's what I think about.
Thank you. Other policies that have been employed to try and attract and retain businesses, most particularly special tax treatment for major employers who are politically powerful. I'm thinking, of course, of Sears and CME and Motorola Mobility and others that got special deals after the 2011 tax increase. Do you favor conferring those kind of special tax treatments to significant employers? And if you do, how do you explain that to small business owner-operators who are paying full freight? Start with Senator Brady.
But this is the problem, you overtax. That's why I want to eliminate the personal income tax. We've had the highest corporate income tax in the nation, one of the highest personal income taxes in the nation. When you do that, people start making decisions away from your state, and you start getting threatened, and you start getting on the defensive. We need to make sure that we get off the defensive and into the offensive. I will tell you that other governors are using those tools, so it's something called the edge tax credit. But as governor, I don't want to provide incentives unless it's a win-win. In business, I know when I lose a customer, it's awfully hard to get that customer back. So we work very hard to keep our customers, which is why we need to work hard to keep our businesses. We don't want to lose them. So we've got to be very aggressive in making sure we're providing a platform and playing field for that state. And I wouldn't want to give up the tools to compete with other states trying to attract jobs. But it's got to be a win-win. It's got to be a position where we're gaining more than we're losing in the short term. In the long term, we're gaining everything.
Senator Tiller.
Thank you. All those CEOs of those big old companies, those big $250,000 donors. They're dollar donors to the guy who's not here in the chair.
Although I'd be happy to take those contributions.
And I won't point out that those big old corporations and those CEOs that write those $250,000 and $500,000 checks are special interests because they certainly have a huge stake personally as well as their corporations in the state of Illinois. So they're special interests just like the IEA and teachers unions and senior citizens. I look forward to a state of Illinois where we don't have to offer an incentive to anyone. This is the capital of the Midwest, folks. Nobody has a hair to the work forming place, and I sponsored the law. Senator Rodonio was instrumental. I give Speaker Madigan credit. I was the Senate sponsor of the work rule changes that kept McCormick Place the #1 convention center in the United States, taking on some very tough unions to tell them they can't kill the goose that laid the golden egg. Nobody produces more beans or corn than the state of Illinois. Nobody has great institutions, Northwestern University of Chicago, DePaul, Eureka College, you name it, Lewis University. Nobody has what the state of Illinois has, including the best rail system in the country, and our location, which is second to none in fresh water. So to be rated 50th in economic outlook is unacceptable. And I want to reform through my destination economy plan. I want to make Illinois a place where no business needs to have an incentive to stay here or grow here. They all ought to want to come here because of our environment and our location.
Treasurer Rutherford.
The idea of the edge tax credit. I want CME to stay here, I want Sears to stay here, I want ADM to stay here, I want every one of them to stay here. But if you're going to go in, you're going to have special legislation because somebody's got some political clout and a good lobbyist. As the governor of Illinois, when you do something like that, you have winners and you have losers. If we're about to change the law for edge tax credit to go away from your corporate taxes and put it to your payroll taxes, if it's good enough for them, make it good enough for everybody else. Make it a level playing field for everybody to participate. Another thing is, when you hear these people talk about these tax loopholes, well, that's the buzzword saying they want to get rid of them. I look at them as tax incentives, and I intend to put together an objective analysis. We have a manufacturer's tax credit, motion picture tax credit, printer's tax credit, research and development tax credit, and every one of those, I believe, deserves a fair analysis if they give a better return than what their expense is. If they do, I'm going to go to the House Revenue Committee and the Senate Revenue Committee and justify and defend them. And if they don't, I'll be the governor with an objective analysis, not subjective, to suggest they're gotten rid of. I think that's an appropriate way that you run from a private sector businessman standpoint on which you look at it in your Illinois government.
Thank you. The penultimate question, still a quick answer. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Brady.
One of the things that bothers me the most about this recent ATM thing, when it came to Chicago metropolitan area businesses, Governor Quinn and Madigan and Cohen, there was full cooperation. But when it came to a Decatur, Illinois business, that is rooted in our agricultural base, the largest public sector traded agricultural company in the world, Chicago politicians turned a blind eye. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a program that was designed to bring over 500 additional jobs to Decatur, over and above the jobs that were going to be moved to Chicago. This was a win-win, which is why we need a governor for all of Illinois. We can't continue to be under this tyranny of Chicago control. And it's in Chicago's interest.
The penultimate question, still quick. This isn't fair because it's a complicated issue, but life isn't fair, so. And that is the human cost of bad public policy. Specifically, a recent HHS study that finds that Illinois is 51st out of 50 behind even the District of Columbia when it comes to providing services for the developmentally disabled. Senator Dillard, first to you. What one thing could you do immediately as governor to improve civilization in Illinois by making sure that those who need state services through no fault of their own and who we all believe should be provided those state services get those state services?
Thank you. And I commend Dan Croft, who throughout the last campaign for governor, and every time I see him speak, always says it is shameful as the state of Illinois, as rich as we are in resources and human heart, to literally be last in America on what we spend per capita on the developmentally disabled. I mean, Dan, the place I go looking for that money, aside from growing the economy, is to manage the Medicaid program of this state better. We must throw off people, and there are studies down in Bill's area, the CBS station in Champaign, said that perhaps up to half of the people on Medicaid in Illinois are not eligible. We've had studies that have shown we have tens of thousands of people that don't even live in the state of Illinois who are on that program. So I've got to manage Medicaid, our state's largest expenditure, better, so that those who truly need it, whether it's a single mom who needs Medicaid for her children, or a senior citizen, or the developmentally disabled, it's all a matter of prioritization. And I'll tell you,